Welcome to the Go Deeper podcast. Today we're talking about just the power of creating vision boards, the power of manifesting, and really just using it only as a tool. We're going to dive deep into what we've done over the years. I've had a vision board since I met you. It was like what I watched and read the book, The Secret, and realized like there is so much power in thinking things and then taking action, which is, what we're really going to dive deep in more today. Yes, there's the beautiful power of creating a vision board, but that vision board and or what you save on your phone, you have to back it up with work. The vision board's really just the tool. Him and I are very similar, but yet different. We do different things to sort of visualize what we want our life to look like. But we both do it at a very high level.
Well, you write everything down.
I write everything down. I create a beautiful vision board once a year, usually October and November.
Amber writes notes for everything. We're in church. She writes notes.
Yeah.
She's listening to a speaker. She writes notes. Me, I'm the total opposite. I never write notes, but I do create a lot of things on my phone of, for instance, if I wanted this vehicle,
I was going to say, I could tell you to go into your phone right now and you know exactly where certain things that you want to attract in your life
100%.
are.
Yeah.
And that's a vision board.
Well, I like to save an image of exactly what I want or something like it, and then see that often in my phone, and then could be 1 year, 5 year, 10 years later, I have it. And it's always in the back of my brain of like thinking, we've always said this, thoughts become things.
Yeah.
So, and
I think
that can be good.
Experienced that in some capacity.
Right. But that can be good and bad because you do not want to put thoughts in your brain that are the bad thoughts or the thoughts of, I can't do this. What is one thing we tell our children? We don't say certain things.
Everything you put your mind to is what we like ingrain in them. And I think, the root value of a vision board is to take potentially, this was mine, I'm going to be transparent, say like I was coming from a negative lifestyle, a negative background, trauma. And I said, I want to create the life that I'm envisioning of myself up here. And I was very specific. Even I had it written out before I had it as a visual board, but I had it written out. I'm going to marry a tall, dark, and handsome man. I'm going to drive a Range Rover. I'm going to live by water. I'm going to live in a nice house. I'm going to have 2 kids, a boy and then a girl. And I have it written out from when I was in high school.
Like, damn, and I popped out.
And then
I popped out
of nowhere. And then we had Manny. And then we had Sophia. And I remember like going back and like looking at that vision I had created for my life. And I was like, this came to life to the T. And it's like scary and it's overwhelming, but there's so much power in writing stuff down and visualizing it. But I also did the work. Like when I had holy discernment spirit moments, like I took action. And I think a lot of people can create what they want to live in their mind,
but they never implement it.
They never take action. And, there's power in your mind of visualizing. And even this morning I sat with myself and went down, and I have in my notes in my phone, my vision board, but I also have written out just things that like make me reset myself if I feel like I'm in a mind funk. And I was going through that today. And what the vision board really does is it makes you pay attention to really what's happening around you and stay aligned with what's happening around you. And instead of just living freely, it's easier for you to say no to things that are not getting you to your vision of your life, and easier for you really to see opportunities. So let's like back up and talk about like even just this past year, I had this podcast on my vision board and I kept telling Stephen and Daniel, I want to do this podcast. I want to do this podcast. I want to do this podcast. This podcast had actually been like laid on my heart 6 or 7 years ago, even before we had kids, but time just didn't allow for it, or I wasn't ready for it. Fear got in our way.
We didn't know what the hell we were doing, how to do it, how to implement it.
But what a vision board does is it keeps you from living in that fear. It keeps you from living in that insecurity. It keeps you focused on where you want to go and not the emotion that you're living in. And it makes you realize that if you stay focused on it and you continually take action towards it, things begin to happen. And just talk about just when you've even had a car or something on your vision board or a watch.
Every one of them, I normally make come to life.
Yeah.
And it might take 1 year, it might take 5, it might take 10. I'll tell a big one that was very instrumental in not only our business, but just life as of right now. And
Yeah.
probably one of the best investments
Yeah.
that we didn't know was going to be.
Yeah.
2017, I believe, we're working out at my gym. A gentleman comes up to me. Amber happens to be there and says, "Hey, Stephen, I heard you're looking for warehouse space." I said, "Yes, sir. I already had a big warehouse." He says, "Hey, we're going to be closing down and selling the buildings." I said to him, I said, "Hey, the distribution center." He says, "Oh, that one's under contract. Local guys buying it, but this other one is available." I go by, look at the other one, and it's definitely not what I need. And something I had put photos in my phone, I can show you that I kept seeing this warehouse. I would drive by it. It was 1 mile from my old warehouse. I kept driving by. I drove by that warehouse for 2 years, but I had photos. I had filmed it 2 years prior.
It was laid out much better for what you needed to function
Right.
as, to grow your business to the next level.
Right. And so next thing I know, something, I don't know if it was God or something just on my heart said, text this. I kept riding by and it looked dilapidated, like needs love. So anyways, texted the gentleman who owned it. He instantly called me and said, "Hey, Stephen, I sold all the buildings to this guy, but he's probably going to be selling the buildings because that's not what he does."
And this was 2 years later.
2 years. And this is now 2019.
Yeah.
And so anyways, the guy and me talk. He drives down, meets us the next day. We go under contract, like 2 weeks, not a week or two later. And I believe we told this in another one of the podcast episodes, but then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And, what could have been detrimental, we made it through, turned into probably one of the best investments
Absolutely.
that we did not know was going to be a
No.
good investment.
And in the moment, it didn't feel good. It was heavy. We had just had 2 kids. COVID happened.
Knee replacement.
We were selling gym equipment to large gyms. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, our large gyms are calling you, stressing you out. And here now we have consumers coming by hundreds a day, and we're not set up for that. But I think we never lost sight of the vision and the goal, even when fear overtook us. It actually made us work harder because we're just huge believers. And if we visualize it and if we work hard to achieve it, God is going to make a way. There's nothing that's going to get in the way of any obstacle if he's placed it on your heart. And really, your vision board should be so soulful and so deep. You're doing it because God's placed it on your heart. And now it's just your job to take action towards it. He will bless you. He'll give you the dream, but he expects you to do the work. And you were doing the work. I mean, I was doing the work. We didn't even care. I mean, we cared COVID was happening, but we just did the work and we were going to make it happen anyway. So keep going on that story, because we were mid-COVID. We didn't think we were going to have to close on the building, and all of a sudden we were going to have to close on the building quick.
Yeah, we had to close on the building. I'm literally working 18, 19, 20 hours a day. She'll tell you.
Yeah.
To
come up with the money.
I'm doing a different advertisement every single day that took me a long time to do. This was all usually at my house at night. So this is usually between 9 and 11 p.m. at night for the next day. Every day was a new advertisement. And it put a lot of stress on me.
Yeah.
But I knew to let everybody...
There was a piece.
Yeah,
there was a piece, though, that
but
it
if
was
you remember...
stressful. But we knew we needed to buy the building.
We was about $700,000 deep into renovation of a building that I technically don't own.
Yeah, that we were renting. We were renting so he didn't have to pay capital gain. So we were renting it, paying $700,000 in renovations. And then we were expected to close almost like a year before we thought we were going to close. So we had to come up with all the money that we were going to need.
Because the other building didn't sell.
Correct.
And we were planning on just taking the equity of the other building and applying the money so we wouldn't have to come up. It was a big cluster mess.
But if we didn't have that vision, if we didn't have it laid on our hearts that was the building,
we would have gave up.
We would have gave up. And that's what a vision board does, is it keeps you going when you think you're going to give up, because it's what you're supposed to do. I mean, even this building we're sitting in right here,
We walked in the bank. And a guy come up to us.
Yeah.
Who's a friend of ours.
And he knew we were looking for a building.
Yeah.
And we had pursued other buildings. And
We've
other
been
buildings
looking for 7, 8, 10 years.
Yeah. Other buildings just were not panning out for us. And I was getting frustrated. If I probably slowed down and looked back at life, the Holy Spirit has always made me love this building. And Woody, our banker, came up to us at the bank and he said, "Amber, I know of a building that's going to be for sale off market. Here's the owner's information." Reached out to the owner. We met him.
When our bank had the bank loan on this building.
Yeah.
So it was just coincidence.
It's not coincidence. That's just how God works.
Yeah. Well, true.
And we came here and met with him. And if you remember, like I was in a tizzy.
Well, you were, and I asked the gentleman because we didn't even know how much he wanted for the building.
Yeah.
The bank didn't know. We didn't know
No.
anything.
But like fear
Nor did we
took
know.
me over.
Yeah,
Like
but
I
nor did
left
we
this
know what it was
building.
worth.
Right. I left this building like excited, like I can do this. But like my car came that Friday. This building hit me that
Hold on a minute.
Friday.
You looked at me and said, you almost were in frozen, like you can't do nothing. I can't buy a car. I can't buy the
Yeah, I was
building.
paralyzed. It was too much all at once.
Hmm.
But the
You were
car
fearful of the money.
and this building were on my vision board.
Hmm.
But it's like it just happened
And then tell everybody what I told you.
to do it. But okay, remember Sunday? Do you remember that
Oh,
Sunday?
yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to tell this story without crying. So that Sunday we get up. I tell Stephen like this is so heavy on me, and even though I put it on my vision board, like I'm just scared, and I just needed peace about it. So we get up. We're doing cardio. I tell Stephen we need to go to church,
Hmm.
and I'm like listening to church online while I'm doing cardio, and it's like pouring down rain.
Bad storm.
Bad storm. It was like monsoony.
And so we're not going to go to church.
And that's not an excuse to not go to church. But, you know,
Hmm.
when you have little kids and I don't know, it's an obstacle, right? But it should never block you. So we go inside. I said, let's just stream it then. We go to stream church. It doesn't work. And I'm like, the Holy Spirit's telling me I need to walk into
Church
church.
kept going on, off, on,
Yeah.
off. And I was so frustrated that I look at her and I'm like,
Yeah.
get your clothes on to
And
the
you don't
kids.
like when I'm heavy either.
Well,
Like
I don't
you
like her.
felt my
I knew I
heaviness.
don't like her seeing that way. So I'm like, we're going to church.
Yeah.
I remember screaming it. Like I probably shouldn't have done that. But I'm like, we're going to church. Kids, get your shit on.
Yeah.
We're going to church.
Yeah.
And then
So we walk into church and I'm like, I'm going to have Josh and Anna pray over us. So we get up. I want to go have Josh and Anna pray over us, but our friends of ours went and popped up
couldn't,
before
yeah.
us and we couldn't. So I just sit there at church, just sobbing like I am right now. I mean, I'm not sobbing that bad, but at church I was sobbing that day. Like I was heavy and I was just like, I just need the Lord to tell me like, this is the right thing to do. It's a big thing and it's a lot of big things at once. And, I think it was also in a harder time of year, like when things just aren't flowing.
and guys, just to let everybody know, this has nothing to do with the building or car or anything, but it's a lot of money for you.
Yeah,
Ton
absolutely.
of money. Tons.
Yeah.
And
And
you're
just more responsibility and more stress.
and just so everybody knows, so I can relay this message as she speaks, like this is called putting your balls on the line.
Yeah.
Like it's like
I don't
make it or
have balls.
yeah, but
it's called. It's
but
called
make it or break it.
walking honestly in faith when you don't see how it's going to work out, when you don't know if it's the right thing. Like you do need to go to the Lord and ask, you know, is this what you want me to do? And that's what I did at church that day. So we go and I don't get prayed over, but I'm standing there like bawling, crying, like, Lord, just give me a sign. Like, is this the right thing we're supposed to do? I know you've laid it on my heart. I know you've orchestrated it like so seamlessly. You know, buying a commercial building as beautiful and unique as this does not happen every day. So I knew like God had his hand in it all. And at the end of church, Josh, I've never heard him do this, but he just like in the middle of church not stood up, he was up there, but he looked at me and he like called me out specifically. And
By name.
Yeah. Like, Amber, I don't know what you're going through. But just know that like
You're gonna have the best year in real estate you've ever had.
God has already planned this and just like keep going. But you know, if I didn't have that vision on my heart by him, and if I wouldn't like have asked for God's discernment and expected his will in this like huge moment, I would have never been at peace with this building. But after that, you know, I know you were like squeezing my hand. I was bawling, crying. I was like, it's amazing when you seek him and he creates this vision for you. And then he even like reassures you when, you know, if I wouldn't have had that moment, I probably would have went to you and be like, I don't need the car. I don't need this building. I'm okay.
Yeah, but tell everybody, and I'd also think, and we've talked about this on other podcasts, having someone in your corner or
Yeah.
whatever. By no means, this is not about me. This could be about
No, but
me
I'm
going to
grateful
watch
you
this.
always push me. You're definitely a bigger risk taker
But
than I am.
several days prior to this, what did I look at you and said within minutes on the car?
Oh, it's
You're-
yours. Like,
no,
go
I-
get it.
I said, "You're
figure it
buying
out.
the
You're
car."
buying the car. You're buying the
There
car.
was
You're buying
there
the
was not
building.
an option. And then when we left here that day after
Yeah.
meeting the thing, and the guy gave me the number on the building,
Yeah.
I looked at her. This is pre-church,
Yeah.
and I said, "You're buying the building."
Yeah.
And she has no clue how she's buying it. How are we coming up with the money or whatever? We'll
You
figure that
handle
out.
life a little more that way, like, you just do the things and you figure it out.
Hmm.
I strive to have peace and to make sure, like, it's aligned with what God wants me to do.
Hmm.
So I think that's where we balance each other out. Like, you give me the oomph, but I need the peace
But
too.
I think
But I
where
have the oomph
but
too.
I'm just different than most people
Yeah, you
because it's
are.
like, okay,
Spoke on this the
I
other
need to
day.
go make another $1,000. I
Yeah.
am not scared to go work till midnight tonight.
No. And I think that's where so many people fail. They create this vision for their life and then they just work the 9 to 5 and don't put any extra effort.
Hmm.
A vision board should make you want to level up your life in
Hmm.
some way, shape, or form. It doesn't always have to be all material things.
Correct.
Like on my vision board for several years, I'm going to create more leaders in my business.
Hmm.
I'm going to lead more people to the church.
Hmm.
I'm going to create, I had for a while this little itty teeny bitty baby girl
Hmm.
after I had Manny. I took her off for a little bit and then I put her
Hmm.
back on there. And it's like Sophia then came. Like it can be peace,
Hmm.
it can be growth, it can be healing yourself. Like your vision for yourself needs to be wherever you feel like you need to grow yourself. It doesn't just have to be the cars and the buildings and the financial things.
Hmm.
It can be, how do you want to grow yourself spiritually? How do I want to grow myself financially? How do I want to grow my relationship with my spouse? How do I want to help other
I
people?
also think though you need to have goals and like in mind
Yeah.
and those thoughts in your
Yeah, I'm
brain that
grateful
you
you said
can
that.
achieve
Yeah.
them
Yep.
because so many people limit the mindset
Yeah.
on what can happen.
Yeah. I think the vision board is a great tool. Goals are great, what I would consider actions
Hmm.
that you need to take. And those are the two things that you have to put together.
Hmm.
You have to have the goals that create you activities to do
Hmm.
the things to make the vision board come to life.
Hmm.
It all comes together, but you also need to have people around you, whether that be your pastor, your church that pours in you, your spouse, a mentor, a
Hmm.
coach. I mean, anytime we go to make big decisions, we talk about it at high levels. We make sure that this is where we're supposed to go and what we're supposed to be doing and that we support one another.
Hmm.
Because I think the biggest thing that can block people, especially husbands and wife, if they're not on the same path and have not created like a mutual vision for life together. We went through seasons where like I'm growing, you're back here, and then you speed up.
Hmm.
And then, we had kids and I had to like stay over here and you grew. And now I feel like I'm getting back up to your pace
Sure.
again. And that's just kind of how life works at times.
Hmm.
But I think so many times couples do not create like a mutual vision together. I remember last year, 2 years ago, when I said we were going to Utah for the first time, I had been to like conferences and stuff. You really
I
hadn't.
think that was almost 3 years ago now,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
regardless.
Time goes by fast. But I think that was good for us.
Yeah, I agree. Met people.
It allowed us to talk about
Hmm.
like, what do we want for our life? What are the bigger things we want? How do we want to grow ourselves? What are things we need to work on?
Hmm.
When we went to Idaho just a few months ago
Hmm.
now, that was good for us again.
Yeah.
Like it's good for you as you create your vision for your life to do things to grow together, to make that vision come to life too. I feel like we always like surge right after we get back from these things. And I would really like to go at least 2 to 4 times a year,
Yeah.
like on things like that for
But
you.
we
It
always
grows us
say that we're
both.
going to travel,
I know,
but we don't.
but we don't. But there's difference, I get more fueled up and I grow more when I go to something like
Tell
that.
everybody though, one thing that we've always done of like if we go spend money, let's just say on this, it don't have to be material things. It could be like literally going somewhere and we spend a lot of money to do that. We come back with that fired up momentum
Yeah.
to go make more money.
Yeah.
That's where I think a vision board or thoughts become things is so important
Yeah.
because if you don't set yourself a goal and then you achieve the goal, you don't have nothing. It's almost like preparing for a bodybuilding show.
Yeah.
You have this look in your brain of how the body you want it to look. And if you're not eating the right foods that you
Yeah.
are not going to
No,
achieve that look.
that's right.
And financial success and things like that are so impactful by like, for instance, do you remember when I was 30 some years old? Amber will tell you, I've looked at watches since I
Yeah.
was young.
Yeah.
My father gave me a watch. It was a Seiko.
Like
that
you were
he-
like 4 or 5 years old
Yeah,
wearing a
young.
Seiko watch
Yeah.
that Manny has now.
Young. My son has the same watch now, but I remember I had a goal in my mind, and I'll be 41 next
Yeah.
month.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had a goal in my mind by 40, if you remember, that I'm going to buy my first Rolex. It was something that I looked at for years, and I don't know why it's making me emotional. Maybe it's because I saw you freaking cry.
Yeah.
But anyways, I've been pretty good on every podcast. But anyways, my
Well, this
point,
is stuff that like gets you going. Like this is
yeah.
why you create a vision board. It's not just for this stuff.
And
It's
just so
like
everybody knows, like
achievement of
I
overcoming
have
hard.
never, we don't post material
No,
things.
no,
I've never once
no.
posted, hey, check out my watch, check out this. We got a lot of nice shit, but it's not something
It
that we're
doesn't define us.
right. It don't define us. We
No.
don't, it's not something that we're about. I like to speak with action, words, whatever. I don't want
You
you to,
like to work with purpose and have a purpose in your
yeah.
life. That's what drives you. And overcoming something
Hmm.
that gave you a purpose.
Right.
It's achievement and fulfillment for yourself that you worked hard and you were able to do that and create. I mean, the most rewarding feeling I ever get, and I could do it right now and probably ball cry more. I'm not going to, but it's to like look at your vision board and see all that you have achieved.
Yeah.
That is so fulfilling. The only other thing that's more fulfilling to me, and I have my girls on my team do vision boards, but I had them write down last year, it's in the top right hand drawer of my desk, what their ultimate goal was for this past year.
Hmm.
And it's so powerful. I had one girl on my team, Kayla. She said, I want to sell this many houses. I want to buy a new car and I want to buy a house for me and my children. And she's a single mom that's just overcome a lot. And she did that within 8 months of being on the team. And it was so overwhelming to me. It was like the most joyful moment I've ever had in real estate is like seeing her actually achieve the vision she set forth in her life. It's beautiful to see people do that
Hmm.
when they overcome and they achieve what it is they're setting out to
Hmm.
achieve. And I cheer her on for that. And I love seeing it. Um, I lost my train of thought now, what I was about to say.
Well, I wanted to say on the Rolex situation that if you remember, by the watch market was very down
Yeah.
in 17, 18, and I had become good friends with my buddy Aaron,
Yeah.
and he had a bunch of watches, and I didn't want anyone to know that I was buying a watch, but it was something that I looked at, and he was like, Steven, if you're going to buy something, there's never a better time right now, blah, blah, blah. And so I ended up getting mine and yours.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that I'm wearing the one I'm wearing because this is actually when this watch came out, this
That's
is this is a sea dweller. And when this watch came out, this is the one I wanted. And I couldn't get it.
yeah.
I waited 3 years, if you remember, from this watch.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I ended up getting another watch for me and Amber. And the funny story about that is, thank God
Yeah.
we bought those
When we
watches
did.
when we did.
And that's what's beautiful about looking back at your vision board is like you see sometimes how God orchestrates everything and it's better than you ever thought imaginable.
Because
And I think that was the
tell
point I
them
was about
why
to
thank
make.
God we did then.
Oh, because gold went up exponentially.
So the
Like
prices
crazy.
skyrocketed.
They're probably double the
We
price
could
now.
actually make money on the watches, which, by the way, I'm going to say this. I never think certain investments are good. I do think there certain things can hold value,
Yeah.
but by no means go buy a watch and you think it's going to double in value.
No.
Like trust cars.
Things, I mean, have just happened like that in the
Right.
past couple of years
But
because of COVID.
but then 3 years went by and I
Mhm.
get a call out of the blue for the watch that I'm wearing from the AD of Rolex in Atlanta.
Mhm.
And my watch that I had wanted, that I had tried to get, that I couldn't get, like it's crazy. So I had this watch on my vision board
Mhm.
from the time I saw Rolex post it.
Yeah.
And then bam. So it's crazy how that was still in my brain. I still saw it in my phone and that come to fruition. And this is where I think it's powerful. And if you remember, I about didn't buy it.
Yeah. But I think when you create a vision for yourself, it gives you permission when the opportunity comes to
Mhm.
take advantage of it.
Mhm.
Where otherwise you would live in fear,
Mhm.
or just like you said, you probably only bought that watch because you had created a vision years ago. And I think the most beautiful thing is you never fail, whether it's buying a watch, whether it's becoming who you want to become. You never fail till you stop doing it.
Sure.
And there's been many things that you and I have kept on our vision board for years.
Mhm.
And in God's timing, they come to fruition.
Mhm.
And honestly, it's better timing than what our own timing would have been. You know, I think if we would have had a girl first, I probably would have been satisfied. I was so, even just thinking about children, it was hard for us to have kids. And then do you remember, like, I had like gender disappointment?
Yeah, I remember.
I hate to say that, but we had to do IVF to have Manny. And I was sitting there.
We didn't find out.
We didn't find out at first, and then we found out later on. And I was sitting there, and I come from all girls, and I was sitting there like, Oh, I thought I was having a girl. I mean, I was like 2 days in the
I'm sitting
funk,
there
and you looked
quiet.
at me like, "What's wrong with you?" And
Yeah.
I was like, "I thought I was having a girl." I had such a strong vision in my life for a girl because I didn't know what to do with a boy.
But you got to think, well, what's the best thing that probably ever happened to
Mm,
your family and mine?
Manny.
A boy,
Yeah, a boy.
even though he's a lot to
A
handle.
lot to handle. He is Stephen Little 2.0. I had my
Yeah,
hands
but
full.
y'all needed a boy in that
Yeah, we
family.
needed a boy. For 1,000% we needed a
And
boy.
and at the time, thank God that your father got to see that.
Yeah. I'm just gonna cry all day today. So then, 4 months after I kept this little girl on my vision board. And I remember once I found out I was having a boy, I like took it off because I thought it was like bad juju. But I mean, it still lived here. And 4 months after we have Manny, we're naturally pregnant
Hmm.
with Sophia.
Like instant.
And I just had such a peace, like God wanted us to have this child. I don't care what this child is. We've gotten pregnant
And we didn't
naturally.
find out
We
either.
didn't find out till she came out.
And I thought it was a boy.
Yeah, and here comes Sophia. So it's like beautiful to even see that vision for our life. And I had that vision written down from the time I was 17 or 18 years old that I want to have a boy and then I want to have a girl.
Hmm.
And really the life I live today is the life I created and envisioned when I was 17, 18 years old, graduating high
Hmm.
school. Even you, even moving to North Carolina, the life that we live today, I said I wanted to have a real estate team
Hmm.
and own my own brokerage, and here I am. Like it's everything I live is the vision I created for my life when I was 17 or 18 years
Hmm.
old. But you don't always have to be 17 or 18 years old when you create it.
Yeah.
You create it now. Like if God's placed something
It
on
could
your
be 30,
heart,
40, 50. It
it
doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter.
Yeah.
Just start living it. I
Tell
mean,
how many people do I do that's building their first gym? They're 55 years old.
yeah,
Like it doesn't matter.
just do what God always lays on your heart when he lays it on your heart and pursue it. There's what is the little part of your brain called? I should have wrote it down on my phone. The visual actualization system. Anyways, you I know have probably said, I want to go buy a red car. And then all of a sudden, all you start seeing is red cars, the red car that you want. That part of your brain is what's activated when you do a vision board. So essentially, when you start to focus on this vision for your life, you really don't even begin to realize how powerful it is.
Hmm.
You start to see things that you never would have saw if you weren't focused on what it is you want. And then opportunities are seen where opportunities you wouldn't have even paid attention to before. That's the power of it. And then those opportunities you step into. You give yourself permission. You go back, and today that's what I was doing this morning. I was going back to where I wanted to move forward in certain aspects of my life. We're entering the fourth quarter, and I wanted to say, like, what is it I wanted to do and achieve this year that maybe I haven't done yet? And I went back to my list and to my vision board this morning and really focused in on it. And then it makes you see the world differently.
Hmm.
It makes me see this is where I need to maybe eliminate some of this in my life so I can make room for this. And when you're looking at not just monetary and material things, when you look at like your own growth, you realize, I went back to my natural tendency of how I was living, but I know that's not going to get me to where I want to go. So this morning I sat with myself like if I want to create this vision for my life, I have to take some of this other things off my plate and step into these other
Hmm.
opportunities. And that's what the vision board continues to do for me throughout the
So
year.
let me ask you this, and this may help anyone watching. What do you think is just the easiest approach, step one,
Mhm.
that somebody should take if they've never done anything like this?
So I think you need to sit down with yourself. And I always give my team 5 things to create visions around. Your spiritual health,
Okay.
like how do you want to grow spiritually this
Hmm.
year? Cut out some things. I usually either create something in Canva or even create a Pinterest board, but create out some quotes, some visuals of how you want to grow spiritually, how you want to grow in your relationships, your marriages, and your key relationships around you. If there's something you want to focus on, if you want to grow more intimate with your husband, if you want to go to a marriage conference, like create some visuals on your vision board for that and other key relationships. How you want to grow as a person, like what are things you want to work on for yourself? That could be anything from if you want to work on forgiving something, if you want to grow a certain aspect of your business, if you're a real estate agent or a self employed individual, if you want to achieve something, if you're working for somebody else, if you want to get a promotion, you need to, focus on how you want to grow there. Also, then you also need to focus on like your physical fitness and well-being. What does that look like? How do you need to maybe change your diet? How do you need to work out? What are the things you need to do to increase your physical health and wellness? And then the last is financials. How do I financially want to grow myself? So create a vision for that. Your financials should be like your material things, like your cars, your
Hmm.
trips you want to take, a house you want to buy, a building you want to
And
buy.
let me say this real quick too, Amber. One thing that we should probably say is, guys, don't be stupid. And when I
Yeah.
say stupid, just because you got the Ferrari on your vision board
Yeah.
does not mean if it's not the right time that you need to go buy
Yeah,
that.
be realistic
Be realistic with
and work
yourself.
continue towards it. Like I had my
Hmm.
G-Wagon on my vision board for like 4 or 5 years,
Yeah,
right? But when the opportunity presented itself,
you about still didn't buy it.
but I knew was what I needed to do. And that vision board and your reassurance,
Hmm.
and then Pastor Josh that Sunday telling me, whatever it is, gave me the reassurance like, do it.
But we are the type that, Lord forbid, we hit hard times that we would still go
Yeah, we're not
bartend,
afraid.
wait
Yeah, to
tables,
work hard
whatever
and
it
go
takes.
extra hard to do
But
the
we've met
things.
so many people
Yeah.
that after their work or whatever it is, that they're not willing to work 1 hour on Saturday.
Your vision board should never bankrupt you.
I agree. I agree.
Your vision board should match the effort that you're willing to put in it to make it come to
That's
life.
right.
And that is how we win. That's how
Hmm.
we've gotten ahead. That's how we've been able to do the
Hmm.
things we've done because we had huge visions, but we also had huge work
But I also think
ethic.
huge visions make you push and work
Oh,
harder.
for sure.
This is
We
why
need it. We
20 years ago, as I was very competitive in the bodybuilding,
yeah.
I visualized the way I should look.
Yeah.
And when I started, I didn't look this way. And my goal was 3 cardio sessions a day, whatever it took. That's the way I was hoping to achieve. Now, if I wasn't willing to put in that work, because this has nothing to do with money,
No.
this is what I'm putting in my mouth for
Yeah.
food, how much I'm training, how
There's
much
a
cardio.
sacrifice for everything.
Right. But as you know, how much work was that
Oh yeah, it was a lot. I mean, we were working the nightclub and going in to do 2 hours of cardio at
on the
3 a.m.
Stairmaster? So
on like 50 carbs a day.
yeah. So people have to realize there is give take, there is
Yeah.
sacrifice.
Your vision board's
But
never going to come to life without you working hard. Chelsea.
correct. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, this is not Disneyland. This is real life.
Yeah,
You
we
gotta
wish we
work
could
hard.
snap a finger
Yeah,
and
no.
things just happen, guys, but it does not work that way.
No. And I think the last thing and how I want to close this out is and this is where we're at in life right now. Like we have created beautiful lives. God always still wants more for you.
Absolutely.
It can just look different in different
Mhm.
seasons, so now we're in seasons of how do we give back? How do we create larger things to help more people?
Hmm.
That's vision too.
Hmm.
And just know that like God never wants you to be stagnant. He always wants you to achieve the goals and the vision he's placed on your heart. And
Hmm.
I promise you, he's made like every single thing happen for us
Hmm.
in such perfect timing, better
Hmm.
than our own. And we live a beautiful life. We have so much to be thankful for.
I think too, and we probably should touch on this on another subject later in the future, but
Yeah.
a lot of people are me, me, me.
Yeah.
And the older I think me and you've gotten, it's more about we do a lot of things for not any kind of monetary value
no.
for other people because we want to, because that's what we love to do,
Yeah.
because we like to serve
And there's
others.
a lot of power in that.
And there's a lot, and that's something I teach the guys
Yeah.
listening right now. I've preached to Daniel many times.
Yeah.
Go above and beyond and
Mhm.
do it just to do it, and
Yeah.
you will be paid back tenfold.
Absolutely.
So
We'll go into that on
I
another
probably think that we should close that out right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, guys, if you like this podcast, my wife said some great things about vision board. She's who taught me how to do all that. So I don't think you have to have anything fancy. I literally have took photos or Google imaged things saved to my phone. This does not have to be nothing crazy. But if you like this podcast, we appreciate you watching. Like and subscribe to the page, and we will see you on the next one.